Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We will start the first lecture of this beautiful book, Sharh As-Sunnah by Imam Al-Barbahari Rahimahullah. First thing first, we want to say what is the reason that this book was written to begin with. The reason that this book was written is mentioned here in the Muqaddamah, in the introduction of the book. It's been said, perhaps through this book, Allah will bring a confused person out of his confusion, or an innovator out of his innovation, or a misguided one out of his misguidance, and he may be saved through it. That is the reason that this book was compiled. To bring a person who is confused, who has shubahat, out of his confusion. To bring a person who is a mubtadi', who is ahlul bid'ah, who is an innovator, out of his innovation, or to bring a person who is misguided out of the misguidance that he is upon. That's what has been mentioned in the Muqaddamah, in the introduction of the book. So we know what we are dealing with here. This is a book of Aqidah, by the way. Thought to mention that. And then, one interesting thing that's also been mentioned in the Muqaddamah that I would like to share with you, Akhwa, before we do it, is very interesting, is that the kunya of this Imam, of Imam Al-Barbahari Rahimahullah Ta'ala, the Imam of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah of his time, this Imam, his kunya, Al-Barbahari, is actually, it's a medicine. It's a medicine that time was imported from India. So he is a cure, like a medicine. That's why he has gotten this kunya, which I think well deserved. Yeah. And regarding him being praised by different ulama, there are many ulama who have praised him. Of course, I'm not going to go through all of them. That's going to take ages. But I'm going to go through the big ones. We start with Ibn Abi Ya'la, Rahimahullah. He said, Imam Al-Barbahari is a sheikh of the community in his time, was, and the foremost of them in censoring the people of innovation and in opposing them with his hand and tongue, and he had renown with the ruler. Yani he had a good relationship with the ruler, and prominence amongst those of knowledge, and he was one of the wise scholars, great and precise memorizer of the texts and the reliable believers. This is the praise of Ibn Abi Ya'la Rahimahullah regarding him. And then next we go through the praise of Imam Al-Dhahabi Rahimahullah. He said, the exemplary scholar, Sheikh of the Hanabila in Iraq, in speech, action, and sticking to what is lawful. He had great renown and total respect among the people. The third one that I chose is Ibn al-Jawzi. Ibn al-Jawzi said, he gathered knowledge and abstention from this world and was strong against the Mubtadi'ah. Subhanallah. And Ibn Kathir is the last one. He said, the abstemious man of knowledge, the Hanbali scholar, the admonisher, and he was strict against the people of innovation and sin. He had great standing and was respected by the elite and by the common people. One thing that you have realized here, ya ikhwa, when we go through the tabdi', the praise about him, all of it's been mentioned that he's known and he's famous to be against Ahlul Bid'ah, to be against the Mubtadi'ah. And we'll find out when we go through this book together. All he talks about, it's about Mubtadi'ah. It starts with, we're going to go through the 51st quotes for this lecture. And it starts with the Jahmiyyah, and then later it's Bab al-Khawarij, about Khawarij. And in the next lectures, inshallah ta'ala, we're going to go through the other quotes, which is about Shia, and then he touch upon Sufis and touch upon Qadriya, and all of them, refuting all of them. And in the last lecture, which is the most interesting, in my opinion, is that he touched upon the Ahlul Hawa and Hawas, the people who call themselves Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, and call themselves that they follow the way of the Salaf al-Salih, but they sit with everybody, they don't mind. They mix with the Mubtadi'ah, they mix with the Shia, they mix with everybody, they don't mind. And he calls them the people of Hawa and Hawas. One other thing is been mentioned about his personality, to get to know a little bit his personality before we go to his book at all, is been mentioned by Abu al-Hasan ibn Bashar, who mentioned that Imam Al-Barbahari shunned 70,000 dirhams, which he inherited from his father. He gave it away. 70,000 dirhams, ya ikhwa. 70,000 dirhams. That's how down to earth he was. He inherited 70,000 dirham from his father and he shunned it. He gave it away. A man of honor and dignity indeed. Let me see the next point here. Yeah, from among his students, he has a lot of students, and the most important one that I want to mention by name here for you, ikhwa, it's Ibn Battah. And Ibn Battah, you guys all know him, or at least have heard his name. It's the most famous of his students, but he has many more students than that. And speaking of him, he's mentioned something very interesting from Imam Al-Barbahari, which is a Sharh, a poet from his poetry. And this poetry is for the youth. And I know already that many of the beloved brothers and sisters who have joined our lecture today, Barakallahu fikum, may Allah Azza wa Jal have mercy upon all of you, are youth, are young in age. And they worry a lot, they stress a lot in life. And I would like to read that poetry from you, to you, which is mentioned also in the Muqaddamah of the book. It's been said that from his poetry, whoever satisfies himself with what is enough for him begins rich and continues in following the correct way. So whoever is satisfied by what he has, he doesn't stress. He doesn't go around stressing all the time. He doesn't go around thinking, I don't have this, I don't have that. No. Abadan. He is satisfied with what he already has, with what suffices him, with what is enough for him. He begins rich from the beginning because he already is satisfied by what he has already, and continues in following the correct way. How fine an attribute Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made being satisfied with what you already have, with what suffices. That's an attribute that some people have, that they are already satisfied by what they have. They don't go around worry all the time. I want more, I want more. They try their best, but they're already satisfied by what they have. And it's been said, how many a humble person it has raised high. The soul of the youth feels constricted if he's poor, yani oppressed if he's poor. But if he patiently depended upon his Lord, he would indeed be given ease and sufficiency. Allahumma ameen. This was from his poetry, مثلا. Yani he has touched upon everything. Fiqh, refutation, aqidah, poetry. Very interesting scholar. About his death, since we are talking about his tarjuma, his biography, it's worth to talk about his death. And I have prepared something very beautiful in the Muqaddamah regarding his death. Mentioned by, this is very interesting, ya akhwa, pay good attention. Mentioned by Ibn Abi Ya'la, this one, and it's mentioned in many books. From the most famous one, it's mentioned in Tabaqatul Hanabila, in his own biography, from Ibn Abi Ya'la. But also many other ulama have mentioned it in their books as well. It's very interesting about his death. It's been said that Ibn Abi Ya'la said, it's been narrated to him that Al-Barbahari was hidden by the sister of Tuzun in the eastern side of the town, in the alleyway of the public bathhouse. And the reason he was hidden is because the authority were after him. They wanted to unalive him. He was there for about a month. Then his blood ceased flowing, meaning he passed away. When Al-Barbahari died, still in hiding, the sister of Tuzun said to her servant, "Find someone to wash him." So someone came to wash him, and the door was kept locked so that no one would know, because the authority will punish the person who's hiding him, right? So she didn't want anybody to know. He alone stood to pray, yani the person who washed him. He alone stood to pray over him. But when the woman who owned the house looked, she found that it was full of men wearing white and green clothing. Where did this man come from? The door was locked, right? After he had ended the funeral prayer, she did not see anyone at all. Those men, they were disappeared. So she called to her servant and said, "You have destroyed me along with my brother." So she thought that the door wasn't locked and they have opened the door and many people attended the funeral. So she was upset or mad at her servant. So he said, the one who washed the body, he responded instead of the servant. He said, "Did you not see what I saw?" She responded, "Yes." He said, "Here are the keys to the door and it's still locked." So nobody has entered, the door is still locked. So she said, "Bury him in my house and I will die. Bury me near him after my death." And for those who did not understand the whole thing here, those individuals who appeared in the house, they were the malaika. They were angels who came to pray over janaza for Imam Al-Barbahari Rahimahullah ta'ala. What a beautiful story. The next point I would like to go through is the inspired people, the people who've been inspired by him. And that would be the last point about Imam Al-Barbahari himself. After that, we're going to start with the book itself. From the people who've been inspired by him, it's the most famous one, many people, but we're gonna keep it with the most famous one, and the most, the biggest one. One of it I already touched upon him is Ibn Battah, and he's been inspired the most by him. He was his direct student, and he quotes a lot from him in Al-Ibanat al-Kubra and also Al-Ibanat al-Suqra. And then also Imam Al-Ajurri Rahimahullah quotes a lot from him in the book Al-Sharia, and he's been inspired by him a lot. And also Imam Al-Lalikai in the book of Sharh Al-Usul I'tiqad Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. From the other people who have quoted from him, these are the people who are close to him and been most inspired by him. And there are people who have quoted directly from him, in their book. Like they have said, Imam Al-Barbahari in Sharh As-Sunnah in quote number 20 said such and such. I'm going to name some of those for you as well. One of them is the most famous one, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah Rahimahullah. He quotes from him it's been said that he quotes from him in the book Bughiyat al-Murtad, page 258. He quotes from Imam Al-Barbahari in that book. And Ibn Abi Ya'la, of course, he puts his biography in Tabaqat al-Hanabila. And Imam Al-Dhahabi, he quotes from him in the book of Al-Ulu, page 244. And many other people as well, which I mentioned the most famous one or the most important one. Barakallahu fikum. Now we're going to start with the book itself. We are done with the introduction. I'm sure that right now you guys have a clear understanding of who he is and how big he is and how important he is among Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. For the brothers or the sisters who joined a little bit late, this is recorded, and I'm going to give you the recording if you missed on his biography, because before you're going to listen to his book right now, but I think you have to play the first 10 minutes of the recording and listen to his biography so you know who he is. The great Imam of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, may Allah have mercy upon his soul. So the first quote from his book starts with speaking about the Sunnah. He says, "Know that Islam is the Sunnah and the Sunnah is Islam, and one of them cannot be established without the other one." We don't have Islam without Sunnah. You cannot say, okay, it's only Quran. There are many things you would not know. Many things. Right? So for the person who says, I don't care about the Sunnah, I want to distinguish this from, and I'm going to only go with the Quran, that's not the way. That's not the correct way of Islam. We follow Quran and Sunnah, barakallahu fikum. And everybody knows this. And this is the most important one. And that is why he put it as the quote number 1 in his book. He says, Islam is the Sunnah and the Sunnah is Islam. And plus that, I want to mention for you the same quote from some other people. The first person would be, of course, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who says, he who turns away from my Sunnah is not from me. This is very famous hadith in Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, also mentioned in Sunan Nisa'i. And about Imam Malik, Rahimahullah, he says also something very beautiful regarding the Sunnah. He says, the Sunnah is like the ark of Nuh alayhi salam. Whoever embarks upon it reaches salvation, and whoever refuses it is drowned. And Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he quoted this from Imam Malik in Majmu' al-Fatawa volume 4 page 57. And it's been also mentioned by Imam al-Zuhri from the Tabi'in, very famous Tabi'in. He said, the people of knowledge who came before us used to say, salvation lies in clinging to the Sunnah. This is reported in by Ad-Darimi in his Sunan Ad-Darimi, narration number 96. Barakallahu fikum. So this is about the Sunnah. This is like an introduction, like the beginning of the book. I want to tell you that it's about Sunnah. That's why the book is called Sharh As-Sunnah. Now, then he touched upon Jama'ah. What is Jama'ah? Right? We're gonna find out here. He says, from the Sunnah is clinging to the Jama'ah. Whoever desires other than the Jama'ah and departs from it, then he has thrown off the yoke of Islam from his neck, and he is astray, leading others astray. Clinging to the Jama'ah. What is meant by that? What is meant by the Jama'ah? We're gonna find out what is meant by the Jama'ah. It says here, Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, the Prophet said, stick to the Jama'ah and be aware of splitting, for shaitan is found, and be aware of splitting, for shaitan is found along with the single person, but is further from the two. Shaitan likes it when you are not with the Jama'ah. He comes closer to you. But when you are with the Jama'ah, that would not be the case, according to the Prophet ﷺ. Whoever desires the center of paradise, then let him stick to the Jama'ah. And this is mentioned in Musnad Ahmad, volume 1, page 18. Another regarding the Jama'ah, it's been mentioned that Prophet ﷺ, he said, he who sees from his ruler something he dislikes, let him be patient with him. For he who splits away from the Jama'ah by a handspan and then dies a death of Jahiliyyah. Be patient with the ruler and do not stray. Do not go astray. Do not go away from the Jama'ah because the ruler is an oppressor, or is fasiq, or is a zalim. Right? And this is very famous hadith as well, mentioned also in Sahih Bukhari, mentioned in Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari volume 9 page 145, Sahih Muslim, Musnad Ahmad, Tirmidhi, and all these books. This is for the Jama'ah, and also it doesn't finish here. He explains more about the Jama'ah, barakallahu fikum. He says, the foundation upon which the Jama'ah is built is the Sahaba. Because somebody might ask, but what is the Jama'ah? The foundation of the Jama'ah, what is it? He tells you. He says the foundation upon which the Jama'ah is built is the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So whoever does not take from them, he has gone astray and innovated. And every innovation is a misguidance, and its people are in the fire. Okay, so if somebody asks me, but what is the Jama'ah? The foundation of the Jama'ah, what is it? Is the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum ajma'in, they are the Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And as the Imam Al-Barbahari Rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, whoever does not take from them has went astray and is an innovator. It's been mentioned also from Abu Shamma said, this is very important by the way, the order to stick to the Jama'ah means sticking to the truth and its followers, even if those who stick to the truth are few and those who opposes it are many, since the truth is that which the first Jama'ah from the time of the Prophet and his companion were upon. No attention is given to the great number of the people. This is very important, ya akhwa, because some might think, okay, Jama'ah, it means the majority. The majority of the people, like among the Ahl Sunnah today, they are from the Asha'ira. Okay, then the majority are them, so they are the Jama'ah. No, abadan. That's not what it's meant there. Jama'ah means the one who are upon the truth, upon the foundation of Jama'ah, upon the ijma' of Sahaba radiyallahu anhum ajmain, not the one who are astray and large in number. As Abu Shamma said, it has nothing to do with number. Jama'ah means the one who are upon the correct path, the path of Sahaba radiyallahu anhum ajmain, their ijma'. That's what it's meant there, not number. And that's, I think that is very important for somebody who might misunderstand and be like, okay, Jama'ah means the majority of the people. Abadan, that's not what it's meant. So I'm so happy that it's mentioned exactly what Jama'ah is by Abu Shamma here, which I shared it for you, akhwa. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless all of you and have mercy upon you. Yeah. We are going to go to the next point, inshallah. 5. This is very important. This is for modern Muslims, right? I'm sure that many of you have seen my live, Modern Islam is Soft and all them stuff. This is about them. This is about the liberals. This is about the Mufti Mank guys, yeah? Mufti Mank lovers. The sugar coaters. Ali Da'wah. Akhi Ayman. For these people. Exactly for them. It's been said, may Allah have mercy upon you. What a beautiful dua the Imam made for us, reading his quote. He told us, may Allah have mercy upon you. Know that the religion is what came from Allah. It is not something left to the intellect and opinions. The religion is what come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not left to my intellect and my opinion. Oh, but that doesn't make sense. Oh no, this hadith, it doesn't make sense. I'm just going to say I don't take it, even though it's sahih. But no, this, not in a makan, not above the throne, no. It doesn't make sense. Abadan. It says, it is not something left to the intellect and opinions of men. It's come from Allah. It's not left to you, for your intellect, for your opinion, to decide what it means, to fall into your own ta'wil. This is a metaphor, this is a majazi, this is fake. No, but it means that. Where do you take it from? Did Prophet ﷺ explain this to the people? Did he? He didn't. Knowledge, and it's been said, knowledge of it is what comes from Allah and His Messenger, not from our intellect and opinions. So do not follow anything based upon your desires, and so deviate away from the religion and leave Islam. Because if you follow your own whims and desires, then you will deviate and you will leave Islam. If you don't affirm what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, or what His Prophet said in a sahih narration. There will be no excuse for you, since Allah's Messenger explained the Sunnah to His Ummah and made it clear to His companion. and they are the jama'ah, and they are the main body. And the main body is the truth and its followers. So there will be no excuse for you if you are doing it willingly. Yani. If you willingly say, I have understood ilm al-rajal, I have understood hadith, I have understood it, I am 100% sure this is sahih, I'm 100% sure the Prophet ﷺ has said that, the message has been conveyed to me, I'm just going to reject it based on my views and desires and say, no, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, I'm not going to take it, I don't care. The religion, ya akhwa, it's not about our intellect and opinion. That's the whole point here. Because I have a different intellect, you have a different intellect, I have a different opinion, you have a different opinion. If I make it from my own intellect, and you make it from your own intellect, and my opinion, and your opinion, then we'll have thousands of religions. Then it will not be only Islam. Then it will be religion of me, religion of you. I read the narration and I put my own word in it, my own intellect in it, my own opinion in it. You will put your own word, your own opinion, your own intellect. Then there will be no Islam left, barakallahu fikum. So affirm it and do not use your intellect and opinion when it comes to religion. Only take what comes from Allah and His Messenger. That's the point here, barakallahu fikum. And yeah, regarding this about the intellect, it's been mentioned from Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, and about the jama'ah. The jama'ah is what conforms to the truth, even if you are alone. Right? This is about the jama'ah we spoke about earlier. It's not about the intellect. I forgot to mention it. I can say it right here. We spoke about the jama'ah, right? For the people who might misunderstand and think jama'ah means the majority. No, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in, they don't say that. Ibn Mas'ud didn't say that. He said it doesn't mean the majority. The jama'ah is what conforms to the truth, even if you are one person, even if you are alone. And this is mentioned in Tarikh al-Damashq by Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. Yeah. Going to the next point about innovation, bid'ah. He speaks about that in the next point, which is point 7. He says, the Imam, be aware of the small innovations because they grow until they become large. So you might think, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a celebration. It's just the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ. We're not going to do anything bad now, are we? Read some Quran, hang out a little bit, see the family, do some dhikr. Might also a little bit shake my head. Might also a little bit sing. It's not that big of a deal now, is it? That's how you might think. Be aware of the small innovations because they grow until they become large. And for that, it's been prepared a very, very beautiful narration, which I want to read for you, akhwa. Pay very good attention about the small innovations. Because I have seen people, not among you, I know you are all upon the manhaj of the Salaf al-Salih, but from people, they say, it's not that big of a deal, it's just a small celebration, who cares, right? Let's see. Let's see who actually cares about that. Hold on. 7. Yeah. It's been mentioned here with Amr ibn Salama. Said, we used to sit by the door of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud before the morning prayer, so that when he came out, we would walk with him to the mosque. One day, Abu Musa al-Ashari came to us and said, has Abu Abdul Rahman come out yet? We replied, no. So he sat down with us until he came out. So we're waiting for him so they can go to the masjid together. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see what happens. When he came out, we all stood along with him. So Abu Musa said to him, O Abu Abdurrahman, I have just seen something in the mosque. We want to know what he has seen. Because this is Sahaba time, yani. There is innovation at Sahaba time. Let's find out. Which I deemed to be evil, but all praise is for Allah. I did not see anything except good. Yani, I deemed it to be evil, but when I looked at it by my eyes, it looked good. He mentioned, he replied, what is it? He said, what is it? Okay. Abu Musa replied, if you live, you will see it. I saw in the mosque people sitting in a circle, awaiting the prayer. In each circle, they had stones in their hands, and a man would say, repeat Allahu Akbar 100 times. So they would repeat it 100 times. Then he would say La ilaha illallah 100 times. So they would say La ilaha illallah 100 times. Then he would say Subhanallah 100 times. So they would say it 100 times. What is going on here? It's Sahaba time. Yani, shortly after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, maybe it's been 20 years or something, 30 years. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh asked, what did you say to them? Abu Musa said, I did not say anything to them. Instead, I waited to hear your view or what you declare. What do you declare about it? What do you think about it? Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh replied, would that you had ordered them to count up the evil deeds they have occurred and assured them that their good deeds would not be lost. Then we went along with him. They went there to see what's going on. Until he came to one of these circles. Ibn Mas'ud, he came to one of these circles in the masjid. The one that they are gathering and they are saying Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah 100 times, right? Ibn Mas'ud Sahaba is going to talk to them now. He stood and said, what is this which I see you're doing? They replied, O Abu Abdurrahman, these are stones upon which we are counting takbir. He said, count up your evil deeds instead. I assure you that none of your good deeds will be lost. Shame on you, O Ummah of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How quickly you go to destruction. These are the companions of your Prophet still alive, who are widespread. There are his clothes, Prophet's clothes, which have not yet been decayed, and his bowl, which is unbroken, yani his plate and bowl and the thing he used in the house. By him, in whose hand is my soul. Either you are upon a religion better guided than the religion of Muhammad ﷺ, or that you are opening a door of misguidance. What did the Sahaba said about this bid'ah? Sounds nice. Nothing wrong with it now. Saying Allahu Akbar, saying Subhanallah, abadan. He said this means you are upon a religion better guided than the religion of Muhammad ﷺ. Because you introduced something to his religion which he did not. So you said indirectly, I know better than him. He didn't say Subhanallah 100 times and Allah Akbar 100 times in a circle counting it with a stone. He didn't know enough, astaghfirullah. I know better than him. I can add to his religion and make a religion better than the religion of Rasulullah. That's what you're saying. You might not think about it. You might not say it by your tongue. But that's what you're doing when you are upon a bid'ah. You believe, you know, you say bid'ah hasana, you say Prophet didn't do it. You admit it though. That's the issue. If you didn't know, that would be a different case scenario. But you know. You say it's bid'ah hasana. Prophet didn't do it. But I'm going to do it because, astaghfirullah, I know a little bit better than him. That's why Sahaba radiallahu anh, he says, either you are upon a religion better guided than the religion of Rasulullah, or that you are opening a door of misguidance. They said, O Abu Abdurrahman, by Allah, we only intended good. We didn't mean anything bad by it though. We only intended good. Our intention was pure. He said, how many there are who intended good but do not achieve it. Indeed, Rasulullah said to us, a people will recite Quran, but it will not pass behind their throats. By Allah, I do not know. Perhaps most of them are from you. Then he left. Let's see what happens next. Yani were these people the future Khawarij? We'll find out. Umar ibn Salma, the sub-narrator, said, we saw most of those people fighting against us on the day of Nahrawan, along with the Khawarij. Authenticated in the book of Al-Bid'ah, page 26 till 29. It's authenticated by Salim Al-Hilali. You see, ya ikhwa, how bid'ah is? You only mean good by it. You don't think it will harm you. You don't think it was something bad. Like here, you will think, what? They're not doing like anything bad. They're saying Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah. But the Sahaba said to them, by that you mean you are upon a better religion than the religion of Rasulullah. And they ended up becoming the Khawarij in the Battle of Nahrawan, who fought Sahabi Jalil Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu wa radha. It's been said, this was the case with this. Back to Imam Al-Barbahari. Yeah? This was the case with every innovation introduced in this ummah. It began as something small, bearing resemblance to the truth, which is why those who entered it were misled and then were unable to leave it. So it grew and became the religion which they followed, and thus deviated from the straight path and left Islam, and they made their own new religion. Alright, let me see the next point we want to go to. Before we go to the next point regarding this, I want to mention something by Imam Al-Awza'i Rahimahullah. Many of you know him. He's from the Salaf Imam Al-Awza'i. Many of you know him by the famous quote which he said, the people who sit with the innovators are harsher upon us than the innovators themselves, or are worse than themselves, are worse than the innovators themselves. He said, knowledge is what comes from Rasulullah and his Sahaba, and that which does not come from a single one of them is not knowledge. It's bid'ah. It's been mentioned by Ibn Abdul Barr. Let's go to the next quote, inshallah. Quote number 8. Yeah, this is very relevant. I'm not sure how relevant is it for you, akhwa, as I know many of you who are upon the manhaj of the Salaf al-Salih. But this is very relevant for the people who listen to everybody. Yeah, let's just play. Let's just see what Ismail Mank said. He's a mufti now. He's a big guy. Let's see what Ayman says. He speaks good. He's a storyteller. Let's see now what Ali Da'wah he says. His name is Ali, and he gives da'wah. Look what he says, Imam Al-Barbahari Rahimahullah. He makes a good dua for you in the beginning of his quote. He says, may Allah have mercy upon you. Examine carefully the speech of everyone you hear. From in your time, particularly, he's talking about his time that the bid'ah was widespread at the Abbasid time, right? So do not act in haste, and do not enter into anything from it until you ask and see. Did any of the Sahaba of the Prophet speak about it? Or any of the scholars? So if you find a narration from them about it, clinch to it, no problem. When you hear something from somebody, ask them, where did the Prophet ﷺ sit that? Where did the Sahaba sit that? If they bring a dalil, clinch to it. If they don't believe it. Ya akhwa, you are all familiar with the fairy tale story. No matter which background you are from now listening to me, whether you are from an Ashari background, whether you are from a Maturidi background, you guys all know this fairy tale story that Prophet ﷺ, there was an old Jewish lady in his neighborhood that would throw trash at him, insult him, and all them stuff. And Prophet always smile at her and show love to her and says, no problem, I'm a passive man now, according to my ummah. This never happened, by the way, it's a fairy tale story, but I'm a passive man now. My ummah, they attributed this story to me, astaghfirullah. Spit, throw trash, curse at me. Then one day this lady is sick and Prophet ﷺ goes to visit her. She says, how come you come to visit me? I was mean to you. He said, no, I love you for the sake of Allah. And then she became a Muslim right on the spot. Everybody has heard this. Even people from Athari background have heard this. That's how interesting it is. I've asked this to people from Saudi. I've asked this to people from the UAE. They have heard this fairy tale story. And we all believed it. Right? And that is a very big deal, ya akhwa. Imagine this story is widespread. Widespread. Everybody knows it. And I challenge a person to bring this narration, even with a da'if chain. It doesn't exist. Even with a da'if chain, barakallahu fikum. Even with a da'if chain. That's why Imam Al-Barbahari says, be careful now, pay attention, and ask them where is the dalil. Don't just believe everybody talking. Fairy tale story. Let me see where we are. Yeah, point number 9. We gotta know the difference, ya akhwa, between mistake and bid'ah. We cannot say if a scholar made a mistake here and there, then he's an innovator. Because I've seen some people, they go to the extreme and do that. They call somebody an innovator just because he made mistake, right? That's why Imam Al-Barbahari, Rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, know that leaving the correct path occurs in 2 ways. There are 2 ways you will leave the correct path and will go astray. Firstly, that a man strays from the correct path, intending nothing but good. So his error is not to be followed since it leads to destruction. So this is an imam who made a wrong ijtihad. I can give you guys an example. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he made a wrong ijtihad mathalan. He said it's okay to pray in other languages than Arabic. His students, they restricted this to only for the people who couldn't learn Arabic after his death. That's a wrong ijtihad. Now, you really lack wisdom if you call him an innovator for that. Because he meant good by it. He made a mistake. And that his ijtihad he will be rewarded for. When a mujtahid make a mistake, he will be rewarded for it 1 time. When he make a correct ijtihad, he will be rewarded for it 2 times, 2 hasanat. And we can come with many, many examples from all the ulama. They are not ma'sumin. We are not like Shia, Ahlul Jahim. We don't make them holy. No, they are people. They make mistake. So, do not follow their mistake and do not go fast and harsh with tabdi'ah and call them innovators either. Now, that was the first part. The second part is different. It's like Subki mathalan, Sunusi, this major giant Ashari ulama. They are mubtadi'ah, yeah. They are innovators, they are Ahlul Bid'ah. The second part of the quote is about them. A man who deliberately opposes the truth and acts contrary to the pious ones who came before him. He's stray, leading others astray, a rebellious, evil within the ummah. It is duty upon those who know of him to warn the people against him and to explain his condition to them so that no one falls into his innovation and is in his destruction. Okay. So the one who are like that, who are knowingly going against knowingly. Yeah, they are mubtadi'ah. And what is the job of me and you? The Imam tells you the job of me and you. Warn against them. Now there might be some juhala that are surrounding you and will tell you, do not backbite. Ismail Mank has done a lot for the Ummah. He brought many people to Islam. He made his own Quran now. It's simple for the revert. They can read it and they can learn from it. Ali Da'wah. Amen. No. Warn people against them. Be patient with them, ya akhwa. They have feelings toward these mubtadi'ah. They are controlled with their feelings because this mubtadi'ah, they have a soft tongue. They tell you what you want to hear. There is a difference between a fake person and a real person. The fake one will tell you what you want to hear to convince you. The real person will say it in your face, you're wrong. And that's what people do not realize. And that's why when you mention their name, they're like, do not backbite. Do not talk. No. Imam Al-Barbahari, Rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, do it. Warn the people against them. Here, warn the people against them. Let them know of them. Do that. Be patient with them. Remember, be patient with them. Don't go like insulting. Insulting you shouldn't do either way. But like fast and very harsh and Mufti Mank is this. Come on now. They've been like brainwashed by them. They see them as scholars. And most of them are juhali. And if you tell them Salih al-Fawzan, Ibn Uthaymin, Ibn Baz, they don't know. They don't know who they are. They will say, who? Who are those people? Where did you take that from? This was quote number 9. A very good quote. As all the other quotes in the book, by the way. Go to the next quote, inshallah. How is bid'ah made? That's a question I would ask before I want to read this quote. He says, may Allah have mercy upon you. He make a dua for you in the beginning of the quote again. Know that the servant's Islam is not complete until he follows, assists and submit to the truth. So anyone who claims that there remains anything from Islam not sufficiently explained by the Sahaba of the Prophet, he's an innovator. What does this mean? This means if anybody says the Sahaba, they didn't explain it correctly, I want to add to it. I want to add Mawlid. Did Sahaba celebrate the Mawlid, the birthday of the Prophet? No, they didn't. They were not. They didn't do it because they didn't explain the Sunnah. I want to explain the Sunnah myself. I want to do it instead of them. This is how innovation is made. This is how bid'ah is made. That somebody, they might not utter it by their mouth, but that's what it really is. They claim this. They will not admit to it. It says, so anyone who claims that there remains anything from Islam not sufficiently explained by the Sahaba of the Messenger of Allah, he's an innovator. An innovator will never tell you that. He will never tell you that I believe that the things were not sufficiently explained by the Sahaba. I don't believe that. I think they explained it good. Okay, then why did you add to it then, if you believe they explained it good? That's the point here in this quote. Quote number 11. The Imam says, may Allah have mercy upon you. All of you here. Ya ikhwan. He make a dua for you again in his quote. Know that the Sunnah is not a matter of analogies or reasoning with example and desires are not to be followed in it. Rather, it is just a case of affirming the narration from Allah's Messenger without asking how and explaining and saying why and how. Okay, so if somebody asks you now, what is Sunnah? Will you tell them, Sunnah is, because that's what the Mubtadi'ah will say. Sunnah is I have to read it, then I have to analyze it, then I have to make a metaphor and say this is a metaphor, and then I have to ask why, and then I have to ask how, and then I have to think if I affirm it, think if I don't affirm it, this, that. Wrong approach. Wrong. That's not what Sunnah is. That's not what Sunnah is. That's not how a hadith is. Abadan, at all. That's not what a hadith is. It is a matter of affirming it. Okay? Not asking why, not asking how, not asking, but there should be a reason behind it, or analogies, or reasoning, or example, or desires. No. You affirm the hadith as it is, based on the zahir. Okay? If the Sahaba have said any of the Quran, for example, has been a metaphor, yeah, then you take it. As there is, for example, in the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, where Allah Azza wa Jalla is talking about the munafiqeen, He says that when there is a light, they move. When there is darkness, they stand still. And the Sahaba here said, when there is a light, it's meant by a fraction of Iman. They have a fraction of Iman in their heart. So when there is a light, they move. When they get a little bit of Iman hit them, they get scared, they fear Allah, they move. When the fraction of Iman is removed, they stand still. Yeah, this is a metaphor. There you go. Whatever the Salaf said is a metaphor, it's a metaphor. Like that. Did the Salaf said Allah being above the throne is a metaphor? No. And then some of the Salaf, they had other interpretation of the ayah that said, this means when the Islam is victorious, they move with Islam. When there is nur, when we are winning, when we are powerful, when we become weak and we lose or something happen, then they withdraw. Whatever the case would be. If you want a metaphor, take the metaphor from the Salaf al-Salih. Other than that, it's a matter, as Imam Al-Barbahari says, it is just a case of affirming the narration without asking why and how, and reasoning and analogies and desires and all them stuff. Now, going to quote 12. It's a very relevant quote 12. Very, 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 very relevant. I think everybody who is listening to me right now, because I've seen this from the brothers a lot, should write this down, this quote, or should, after this lecture is finished, should I have to take a picture of it and put it in the group, because I've seen you akhwa doing it. It says, he says, debating, arguing, and disputing are innovations which throw doubt in the heart, even if a person reaches the truth and the sunnah. Okay. Debating, arguing, disputing. People like that nowadays, Allahu musta'an. People like that. Oh, this Shia told me this, how do I respond to him, akhi? This guy told me this, how do I respond to him, akhi? Ya habibi, is a matter of winning and losing, or are you giving him da'wah? If you are giving him da'wah, why? What is the tone? Why are you guys talking to each other like you are trying to overcome each other? Why do I see a screenshot of him with a laughing emoji? Is this a da'wah session or a shisha cafe? Are you giving him da'wah, or are you trying to win over him and overcome him, and he tries to win over you and overcome you? No. Debating, arguing, and disputation are innovations which throw doubt into your heart. You should avoid that. And beside him, beside Imam Al-Barbahari, I have prepared quotes from other ulama as well regarding this. Imam Al-Ajurri narrates in the book Al-Sharia, page 57, a man came to Hasan al-Basri, Rahimahullah, and said, "O Abu Sa'id, let me debate with you about the religion." Al-Hasan replied, "As for me, I know my religion. If you have lost it, if you have lost your religion, then go and look for it. Why want to talk to me? Go away. Go, yalla, go." Yeah? Are you going to respond to this? Are you going to respond like this to them? Or no, you like jadal, and you like shouting, and you like disputation and argumentation? No. It's not the correct way. It's been mentioned in Sunnah Tirmidhi. Prophet ﷺ, he said, a people never went astray after being upon the guidance except through disputation and argumentation and trying to win and overcome each other. We're not going to move from this quote by now. I have one more to add, and that's by Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, Rahimahullah. He said, "He who allows his religion to be open to disputing will frequently change over." This is mentioned in Jami' Bayan al-Ilm, volume 2, page 113. Don't allow it, ya akhwa. Don't allow it. Don't allow it to be disputation, argumentation, winning, trying to overcome. No. Da'wah to a sincere person. I show you matan, I show you naql, you take it. If you want to take aql over naql and say, no, this is not, no, this is a metaphor, no, this is not, my Imam Ma'soom didn't say that, even though it's Sahih, it's in Al-Kafi, but Imam Ma'soom could never say such a thing. Then what's the point of talking if you don't want to accept the Sahih Hadith from your book? Then it will be an argument, then it will be a jadal. If he's sincere and he says, yes, I understand it's Sahih, I really want to research about it, maybe I have to open the Sharh. Okay, then open the Sharh. When Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq says in your book, Quran has 17,000 verses, open the Sharh. Right? What does the Sharh say, akhwa? It says this is the proof by Al-Majlisi that Quran has naqs and taghyir. And somebody who says, no, I don't care about the Sharh either. I don't care about my scholar, Shaykh al-Islam, what he explained. I don't care about what the Imam said. I just want to argue. I want to argue with you. Then go. There is no point talking to you. Next quote is quote number 13, which Imam, he again begins with making a dua for the one who is reading this quote. May Allah have mercy upon you. Know that a speculative speech about the Lord, yani deep, for those of you who don't know what this word means, deep thinking about the Lord is newly innovated matter. Deep thinking, like deep. What does the hand mean? What does the arsh mean? What does him being above the arsh, sorry. What does him being above the arsh mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? Right? This is an innovated matter. Okay? And is an innovation and misguidance. Nothing is to be said about the Lord except what He, mighty and majestic, described Himself within the Quran and what the Messenger of Allah explained to his companions. Okay. Now, there is a problem here. Because the Mubtadi'ah, they tell us, you take your religion from Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. He came 200 years ago. Okay. Some of them, they become a little bit smarter. They say, no, I'm going to give you that. You take your religion from Ibn Taymiyyah. He came 500, 600 years ago. 700 years ago. Okay. What is this then? What is this? He is saying that nothing is to be said about Allah unless except for what He has said about Himself in the Quran and what the Prophet has said to his Sahaba about it. Not a word you can put. Did He put in the Quran His hand means power? No. Did Prophet say to Sahaba His hand means power? No. I thought I was taking my religion from Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab according to you, or Ibn Taymiyyah. Then what is this book, Sharh As-Sunnah? This Imam, he lives in the 3rd century. He died 329 years after Hijrah. And he says what we believe. And the Imams before him. He says deep thinking about the Lord is an innovation. And nothing is to be said about the Lord except what He described Himself within the Quran and what the Messenger of Allah explained to his companions. What is in the Quran, you take. What is the Prophet has said, you take. Other than that, you don't add. You don't go and say, this is a metaphor, like you do. Going to the next quote, ya akhwa, is him affirming that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above the throne. And this is a headshot to the Mubtadi'ah, who claim we take our religion from Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, who claim we take our religion from Ibn Taymiyyah. May Allah have mercy upon their soul, both of them. We don't. We take our religion from Salaf al-Salih. Yeah. Imam Al-Barbahari, he says in quote 14, he ascended over his arsh, and his knowledge is in every place. Okay, this is what we believe though, isn't it? He is above the throne bidhatihi, with his essence, and his ilm is everywhere. That's what the Imam is saying as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is above the throne, and his ilm is everywhere. Okay, but they said that we take our religion from like 200 years ago, 600 years ago. Then what is this then? Why is an Imam who lived 1,100 years ago, he says what we believe? So you are astray. You have to come back to the truth, to the way of the real Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. You might call yourself a Sunni, it's not going to make you Sunni. Quote 15. Him talking about Quran not being created. This is a response to the Jahmiyyah. As many of you know already that the Jahmiyyah, they believe that Quran was created, and the modern Jahmiyyah, or so-called the Asha'ira, they believe that this recitation of Quran is created. Imam Al-Barbahari Rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, no one says about the attributes of the Lord. Why? Nobody says why. Nobody says why hand, why this, why. Nobody says why. Why? Nobody says why. The word why, لماذا, you don't use. Except one who doubts Allah. The one who lacks Iman, the one who doubts Allah, he will say why. And there is no issue with that, because we are here to answer. So if your Iman is not strong enough, if you doubt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't shy away. Don't shy away. Come and ask. Ask, what does it mean when Allah says in the Quran, I created Adam alayhi salam by my 2 hands? Then we'll explain. Okay? There is nothing wrong by having doubts and having lack of Iman. We're gonna come to Iman in the next quotes. As actually, he talks about Iman, that it increases and decreases for everybody. For himself, Imam Al-Barbahari, he sometimes had low Iman, sometimes had high Iman. Don't be shy away when you have a question about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Come and ask the good brothers. Go and ask good brothers who can explain it to you. The brothers who know about it. And the brothers who know about the affair Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if they don't know, they will tell you. They will tell you, Akhi al-Aziz, I don't know about this one. Akhi al-Kabir, this one I will get back to you. Regarding Quran being makhluk, as I told you, this is in the same quote. He says the Quran is the speech of Allah, His revelation and light. It is not created, since the Quran is from Allah, and that which is from Allah is not created. This was what Malik ibn Anas, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and the scholars before and after them said, and debating about it is kufr, is disbelief. Now, regarding this, Imam Ahmad rahimahullah ta'ala was asked about the one who says that Quran is created. He said he's a kafir, he is a disbeliever. This is a general takfir, by the way, for those of you who don't know. This is not takfir muayyan, this is a general takfir. Not every single person you meet says Quran is makhluk, you are a kafir. No, not muayyan, this is a general takfir. Reported, this is what I told you about Imam Ahmad, it's been reported in Sharh Al-Usul I'tiqad Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, narration number 449, famous book by Al-Lalikai. So that's right there about Quran. And also a quote, it's worth to mention, in the same book, Sharh As-Sunnah I'tiqad Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah by Al-Lalikai. Imam Malik, he said, the Quran is the speech of Allah. It is not created. Narration number 414. Yeah. Regarding seeing Allah, this is very important, ya akhwa. Pay good attention. Okay? About Quran being created, this is, of course, it's important, but like nobody believes that now. Like even Ash'ara, they don't believe Quran is created. They say the recitation of Quran is created. Although that is a whole another story as well. It's also mentioned in this book actually as well, which we're gonna go to. What's the ruling upon somebody who says recitation of Quran is created, not the Quran is created? We're gonna go through that. But this, what I'm gonna tell you, this quote is very important, very relevant. Okay? And this quote is about seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which many might have shubha about. Many who are in learning stages and they come through narrations and stuff like that. We're gonna go through it inshallah ta'ala together. To have faith in seeing Allah in Yawm al-Qiyamah. This is the Aqidah. Okay? That's why this is called the book of Aqidah. That's how the quote starts. To have faith in seeing Allah in Yawm al-Qiyamah. They will see Allah with the eyes of their heads. He will take account of them without anyone acting on his behalf or any interpreter. Okay. We have faith that we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How? I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to tell you how do we know it. Not how we'll see him, no. Astaghfirullah. How do we know this? Because our proof is not Imam Al-Barbahari's quote number 16 in Sharh As-Sunnah, no. Our proof is Quran. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, Surah 75, Ayah 22 and 23. Some faces that they, yani Yawm al-Qiyamah, shall be shining and radiant, looking at their Lord. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us among them, who their face will be shining because they are looking at their Lord. Because not everybody get the privilege to look at their Lord at Yawm al-Qiyamah, by the way. It's not for everyone. It's mentioned in the Quran regarding seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And other than this, it's been mentioned also that Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, when the people of paradise enter paradise, Allah will say, do you wish for anything extra that I may give you? They will say, have you not brightened our faces? Have you not entered us into paradise and saved us from fire? Yani, what could we ask for more? So he will remove the screen, and they will not have been given anything as beloved to them as looking at their Lord. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the people who will look at him. Where is this mentioned? It's mentioned in Sahih Muslim, Volume 1, narration 347. Yeah. Now, the other thing regarding seeing Allah, it's been mentioned by Imam Ahmad Rahimahullah. Hanbal said, I spoke to Abu Abdullah, meaning Imam Ahmad, about seeing Allah. He said, they are authentic ahadith. We have faith in them and affirm them. We have faith and affirm everything reported from Rasulullah with a good chain of narration. This is also mentioned in the same book I quoted for you earlier, Sharh As-Sunnah Ahl Sunnah by Imam Al-Barbahari, narration number 889. What did Imam Ahmad say? He responded very beautiful actually. He didn't say, yeah, I believe it. He said, I believe everything narrated from the Prophet with a good chain. All of it. We hear and obey. We don't ask how, we don't do jadal, we don't do argue with the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Prophet ﷺ, he said, there is not one of you except that Allah will speak to him on the day of resurrection, there being no interpreter between him and him. And this is regarding the second point of the thing, that there will be no interpreter. Yani, you will speak with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. May Allah have mercy upon our souls. It's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume 8, narration 547, and also Muslim Ahmad and Tirmidhi. Yeah. Let's go to the next quote. Quote number 17. Yeah, quote number 17, we're going to go through it very fast. This is about the people who believe everything is a metaphor out of a sudden, is a majazi, is a fake. So that's why the Imam has to make that clear that no, it's not fake, it's not fairy tale, it's not animation. So he says, to believe that the balance, the mizan, on the day of resurrection, upon which good and evil will be weighed. It has two scales and a tongue. What is mizan? Is the scale in Yawm al-Qiyamah that will be put there, and on the one side there will come your bad deeds, on one side there will come your good deeds, and the good, inshallah, for all of you will outweigh the bad deeds. And I'm sure you guys have heard that it has a tongue, it's been said, and I was wondering about that myself a lot actually. That's why we have Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzan Hafidhahullah explaining us the meaning of the tongue. The tongue is actually a tongue in the middle of the scale, and it will go in a direction of the thing that outweigh the other thing. Okay? And as Salih Al-Fawzan said, this is a physical, okay, mizan, a physical scale, which the Jahmiyyah, they refused and rejected and said, no, this is a fairy tale, this is a fairy tale, this is a majazi, this is it just happens in the mind, we will not see a physical scale. And it has a tongue that will go in different direction, like it will go in this direction if that outweighs, if you go in the left, if left outweighs, it will go in the right, if the right side outweighs. Okay, the other thing, believe in the pool, hawd. That's why it's very important for everybody to read Aqidah books, because you might not be aware of what is a hawd, what is a pool, like a pool of water. Okay, you should know that. As somebody who's from Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, you should know what is a pool. Yeah? And the reason you should know is because some of the stuff that is for Aqidah related is not always mentioned in the Quran. Okay? It's mentioned in Sahih Hadith, and like nobody has came and said, I have read all the Hadith, all Sahih Bukhari, all Sahih Muslim. No. So that's why you need to read Aqidah books to come across these things, which you should know. And one of it is the pool, the hawd. To have faith in the pool. Not saying it's fairy tale or it's metaphor. No. Real pool. Of Allah's messenger, every prophet has a pool. Every prophet has a pool. Except for Salih alayhi salam, because his pool was the other or the breast of his she-camel. Now, very important right now to pay attention, because he's making a mistake here based on a da'if hadith about Prophet Salih alayhi salam. As Salih al-Fawzan explained, yeah? We're going to go through it inshallah ta'ala together. Here, first thing first about the pool. Let's give some more explanation what the pool is from Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let me find it for you, akhwan. Yeah. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, there will be a pool for every prophet. They will compete with regard to who has the greater number of people coming to it. يعني in Yawm al-Qiyamah, yeah? So every prophet, they will have a hawd, a pool of water, and they will compete with each other, like a friendly competition. Who will come? More people come to my hawd and drink from my hawd, yeah? I hope from Allah, Prophet ﷺ, he make a dua. I hope from Allah that I will have the greatest number. Yani most people will come to my hawd. This is reported in At-Tirmidhi and others. And Shaykh Albani declared it Sahih in As-Sahihah, narration number 1589. Okay, that's not all. It's been mentioned, Anas bin Malik, radiallahu anhu, reports that the Messenger of Allah said, the size of my pool is like what is between Jerusalem and Sana'a in Yemen. And it has drinking cups like the number of stars in the sky. This is in Sahih Bukhari, volume 8, narration 582, and Musnad Ahmad and Tirmidhi. To affirm the Hawd and not saying it's a fairy tale or metaphor. Okay, I hope that the one who didn't know about the pool are clear about it, and I'm gonna finish the last part about the pool, about the mistake of Imam Al-Barbahari Rahimahullah Ta'ala. It's been said, as regard to the exception quoted for Salih alayhi salam, the narrations about that are not authentic. So Imam Al-Barbahari, he reached a hadith to him that was not authentic, but he didn't detect the chain correctly. He thought it's authentic, and he ended up making a mistake here, ijtihad, that he ended up saying that except for Salih, he doesn't have oath, which is a wrong ijtihad based on the hadith reached to him is da'if without him realizing it. Barakallahu fikum. That's why we have good sharh of our ulama explaining all the books to us. May Allah have mercy upon them. Okay. The next quote is about hell and paradise. It says that after that, to have faith in the intercession. Hold on, I think I was quoting the number 20. Yeah, I'm in the correct place right now. It says to have faith that paradise is true and real. It's not a metaphor, that's what he means. And that the fire is true and real, and that both are already created. Paradise is in the 7th, he's giving you the location of paradise. Paradise is in the 7th heaven. Its ceiling, yani the roof, its ceiling is the throne. The fire is beneath the 7th and the lowest earth. So where is the paradise? It's in the 7th heaven. Its ceiling is the throne. Where is the fire? Beneath the 7th and the lowest of earth. They are both created. And to believe, neither of them will ever end. They will both last along with Allah forever and ever. This is the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah regarding hell and paradise. Now, regarding Adam alayhi salam, to affirm and believe that Adam alayhi salam was present in the everlasting and created paradise, but was removed from it after disobeying Allah. He disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he was removed from it. To affirm this one. And the next quote we're gonna go to is about refuting the Murji'ah. Here. To have faith, that faith, iman, compromises of saying and amal and belief. Not saying, oh, in your heart, yeah, only in your heart. You don't need to do anything. Only in your heart if you believe. That's the statement of a murji'. That's what the murji'ah say, which is a misguided sect. Yeah. So this is responding to them that we have to, as Ahlul Sunnah, have faith that iman compromises of saying, action, and belief. Not only saying, not only belief, action. Not only belief, action, saying. It increases and decreases. It increases. That's what I told you before earlier about it increases and decreases. As Allah wills. And may decrease to the extent that nothing remains of it. Regarding this, I have prepared a quote from Imam Al-Lalikai. He reported again in the famous book I quoted many times from, Sharh As-Sunnah Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, volume 5, narration number 1737. He said, Abdul Razzaq said, I met 70 shuyukh. From among them are Ma'mar, Al-Awza'i, Sufyan al-Thawri, Al-Walid ibn Hamad ibn Zayd, Sufyan ibn Unayna, Shu'aib ibn Harb, Waki ibn al-Jarrah, Malik ibn Anas, ibn Abi Layla, Ismail ibn Ayyash, Al-Walid ibn Muslim, and those I have not named, many. All of them saying, faith is saying an action. Iman is you believe in it in your heart. You utter it by your tongue and you act upon it. And it increases and it decreases. Then you will come across a liberal who will say, no, you just believe in your heart. That's fine. You don't need to do anything. Who cares? Just believe. All these ulama from the Salaf who spoke about it, I know better than them, astaghfirullah. It's not that big of a deal. It's just your heart. It's all you need. As long as it's in your heart, yani, that will be sufficient. Allahumma musta'an. The next quote is about ranking the Sahaba. And I have seen many of the ikhwan making mistake about ranking the Sahaba. So we're going to go through the ranking of the Sahaba so it's clear for everybody how we rank the Sahaba. And here we do rank them. We do say one is better than the other. We do. The best of this ummah after the passing away of its prophet is Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Uthman. This is what is reported to us from Ibn Umar, who said, we used to say, while Allah's messenger was among us, the best of people after the messenger of Allah is Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Uthman. The Prophet would hear that and not criticize it. Then the best of the people after them are Ali, Talha, Zubair, Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, Sa'id ibn Zayd, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Abu Ubaidah. That's you have the 10 people who promised Jannah, right? All of them were suitable to be Khalifa. Then the best of the people after them are the rest of the Sahaba of the Prophet. The first generation among whom was sent, meaning the first Muhajirun and Ansar, those who prayed towards both Qibla. Then the best of people after them are those who accompanied the Messenger of Allah for a day or a month or a year or less or more than that. We ask Allah to have mercy upon all of them. We mention their virtue and remain silent about any mistakes they made. We don't sit and entertain and speak about the mistake of the Prophet radiyallahu anhu ajma'in. Abadan. We speak nothing, a single word, except in favorably about them. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, when my Sahaba are mentioned, then withhold. Iskut. Don't talk. Don't say, but this Sahaba said this, but this Sahaba said that. Withhold. Sufyan ibn Unayna rahimahullah said, he who speaks a single word against the Sahaba, he is a mubtadi'. A single word. This Sahaba did this wrong. This Sahaba did this to not that he say he did a wrong ijtihad, of course, to humiliate them, to bring them down, against them, speaking against them in a bad way, right? They are not ma'soom, of course, like they have wrong ijtihad. But to degrade them, to humiliate them, you are a mubtadi'. Okay? This quote is very good so we know the ranking of the Sahaba, who comes first, who comes next, and who comes third, and regarding that, withhold when their name is mentioned. Now we go to Bab al-Khawarij. And I know some good brothers here are very interested about Khawarij, so it's here they're gonna enjoy a lot. Barakallahu fikum. about Khawarij. First thing first, I gotta tell y'all something, maybe a bit disappointing for Habibi Murad Yilo on the call. Barakallah fik. He doesn't takfir them, just so you know. Not like Ibn Baz. Anyways, so in the quote 29, he starts speaking about Khawarij. He says, to hear and obey the rulers in that which Allah loves and is pleased with. Whoever becomes a Khalifa through the ijma of the people and their being pleased with him, then he is Amir al-Mu'minin, chief of the believers. Khalas, finished. Whoever is chosen by the ijma of the people, he is the chief of the believers. If he is a fasiq, if he is a dhalim, if he is... No. Was Yazid chosen by the ijma? Yes. Was he a fasiq? Yes. Was he a dhalim? Yes. Was he a Khalifa Amir al-Mu'minin? Yes. Whoever it is. Is there ijma on that they chosen him, the most of the people gave him bay'ah? Yes. He is the Khalifa. Khalas. No more into it. Quote number 30 as well. About the Khawarij. It is not permissible for anyone to spend a single night thinking that he has no Imam over him, whether he is a righteous or wicked. Your Imam, your Khalifa, could be a wicked man. He could be a wicked man. This is for the people who say we can rebel against a ruler if he's a fasiq and a dhalim. And the other thing about Khawarij, again, we are in Bab al-Khawarij now, so it's gonna be all of it from about Khawarij. He says the Hajj and Jihad are to be carried out under his leadership, the Khalifa. Jum'ah prayer behind him, even if he's wicked, is allowed. This is the saying of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. You can't say, but I'm not going to pray behind the ruler because he is a fasiq now. I'm not going to pray behind him. Abadan. What they're going to do now, Khawarij? Huh? Where are the AMJ fanboys? Are they going to call Imam Al-Barbahari a madkhali? Now that's my question now. Because they say, Allahumma musta'an, you take your religion from Rabi al-Madkhali, who is alive now. It's the newest found religion, or newest found sect in Islam, they claim. Huh? Then what is Imam Al-Barbahari talking about here? Huh? Is he a Madkhali? Because he says what we believe. You don't believe this. So it's either you call him a Madkhali, or you call us from the real Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And the quote number 32 is just ma'ruf and mashhur. Every Sunni knows this, that a Khalifa is from Quraysh. Somebody who is a Khalifa is from Quraysh. Somebody is not from Quraysh, he is a ruler, not a Khalifa, not like Khalifatul Uzma, So Khalifa will remain within the Quraysh until Isa ibn Maryam he descends. That's how a Khalifa is. Can only be from Quraysh. Barakallahu fikum. This is well known, ma'ruf and mashhur, and this is in the book of Aqidah. Should be affirmed. And regarding that, it's from the Prophet ﷺ, that's been reported from Muawiyah. This affair of Khulafa will remain with the Quraysh. None will rebel against them except that Allah will throw him down on his face as long as they establish the religion. This is Sahih Bukhari, volume 9, page 257. The next quote is about Khawarij as well. This is a little bit harsh approach. Before I read this, I spoke about this quote with some good brothers. Okay, we had a meeting about this quote. This is a little bit harsh approach. He says, whoever rebels against a Muslim ruler is a Khariji. Whoever you rebel against him, that makes you a Khariji. That's his opinion. No ijma on this. Khawarij, they have usul and they have يعني you have khariji tendencies in you, since you are rebelling against a Muslim ruler, but if that makes you like a khariji, that's up for a debate. Has caused dissent within the Muslims and contradicted the narration and dies a death of the days of Jahiliyyah. Okay. So what they gonna do now? Yani, where are AMJ fanboys? Yani, what's gonna happen now? He just said whoever rebels against a Muslim ruler is a Khariji. Yani, is he the biggest madkhali here? Or what? That's something I wanna know. Quote 34. It is not permissible to fight the ruler nor to rebel against him, even if he oppresses. This is due to the saying of the Messenger ﷺ to Abu Dhar, have patience even if he is an Abyssinian slave. And he's saying to the Ansar, have patience until you meet me at the pool, Hawd. There is no fighting against the ruler in the Sunnah. It causes destruction of the religion and the whole worldly affairs. And for that, I want to read some other stuff for this quote. And from that, it would be a quote that was mentioned by Prophet ﷺ. He says, there will come leader who will not follow my guidance and will not follow my sunnah. There will be amongst them men who will have the hearts of evils in the bodies of humans. Here Hudayfa asked, what shall I do, Messenger of Allah? He replied, you should hear and obey the ruler even if he fludges your back and takes your wealth. Then still hear and obey. It's very mashhur from Sahih Muslim. Narration 45-54. It's been mentioned by Al-Khallal Rahimahullah, student of Imam Ahmad, in the book As-Sunnah, narration number 87. He said, Abu Bakr related to us saying, I heard Abu Abdullah, Imam Ahmad, Rahimahullah, ordering that bloodshed to be avoided, and he strongly forbade rebellion. They are in a deep hole now, because now they gotta call Imam Ahmad, astaghfirullah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu a madkhali too. Deep hole. Now, narration 35. This is about him not making takfir on Khawarij, which is the opinion of the majority of the ulama and the fuqaha. There is a minority opinion that they are kuffar as well. Although he says it is permissible to fight the Khawarij if they attack the person, property or family of the Muslims. But if they desist and flee, then they may not be chased, nor are they wounded to be unalived, nor set upon, nor may those taken captive to be unalived, nor those who flee to be followed. That means he didn't see them as kuffar. Rather, he saw them as Muslimin. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean now that if the ruler told me, Ya Amar, go and unalive somebody, I say yes sir? Abadan. That's not what the Imam is talking about though. Because he make it clear in quote number 36. Know that there is no obedience to any human in disobedience of Allah. If the ruler orders you to do something haram, of course you don't do. Of course you don't do. Yeah? So not that you do everything that he says, unless it's under ikrah. If he's forcing you, and he would unalive you, then that's a different case scenario. And for that we have Sahih Al-Bukhari. He says, if he is ordered with sin, then there is no hearing and obeying. Prophet ﷺ, he said, if you are ordered to do sin, then there is no hearing and obeying the ruler. Sahih Bukhari. Volume 9, page 193, narration number 258, and Sahih Muslim as well, volume 3, narration number 4533, and also Sunan Abi Dawud. Now, what if the ruler forces you? You won't be held accountable for it because you were under ikrah. This happened to Umar ibn Sa'd, the son of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, in the encounter he had with Sayyidina Hussein radiallahu anh. So, the son of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, he was a pious man, and he was ordered to attack and unalive the grandson of the Prophet, Sayyidina Hussein radiallahu anh, and he refused to do so. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad was a major fasiq and a dhalim. He said, if you do not attack him and do not obey me, I will unalive you and your whole family and burn the house upon their head. Under ikrah, he agreed to do so. Okay? If it's under ikrah, you won't be held accountable for it, but if you have a choice, you're not going to follow them in disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quote number 48. I think this is a good quote. It says, the funeral prayer, because some people have seen that they have seen a quote from, the reason I brought this here is because I've seen some people, they've seen a quote from Ibn Taymiyyah Rahimahullah ta'ala, who says, do not join the funeral of a fasiq. That's why I brought this quote from Imam Al-Barbahari. Okay? He says, funeral prayer upon anyone who dies from the people of the Qibla is sunnah. Even a zani and a zaniya, who is stoned to death. Even the one who commits suicide, and the other people of the Qibla who are fasiq. Even who is somebody who was a drunk. Okay? To pray behind them is sunnah. Doesn't matter which kind of fisq they were upon. And to end the first lecture, we're gonna take quote number 50, which is a quote about the Jahmiyyah. He says, everything of the narrations which you heard but cannot fully understand, like the saying of the Messenger of Allah, he bring all the shubahat for you now, ya ikhwa. The hearts of the servants are between the two fingers of the most merciful. Number one. Number two, indeed Allah descends to a lowest of heaven. Number three, He descends on the day of Arafah. Number 4, He descends on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Number 5, hellfire does not cease having them thrown into it until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set His foot upon it. You've seen the Mubtada'a bring this quote today. This quote was brought up to Imam Al-Barbahari 1,100 years ago. Same old recycled arguments. They haven't updated now, have they? Allah the Most High saying to the servant, if you walk towards me, I will run towards you. I've seen a debate on this recently. They think they found out something new. They don't know, they're just repeating the same old recycled argument of the Jahmiyyah, of the early Jahmiyyah. He's saying Allah created Adam alayhi salam in His image. He's saying, I saw my Lord in the most excellent form. Prophet ﷺ saw the Lord in his dream in the most excellent form. And the like of this hadith. He says, all this hadith that you hear but you cannot fully understand, if you can't, then accept them. Affirm them. Perform tafweed. What does it mean, tafweed? Abandon into dwelling into their meaning. Do not explain any of them with your feelings and desires, since believing in them is obligatory. So anyone who explains anything from them according to his hawa and hawas, or reject them according to his hawa and hawas, he is a Jahmi. Barakallahu fikum ya ikhwa. The first lecture is finished. May Allah Azza wa Jal reward all of you. And may Allah Azza wa Jal have mercy upon all of you and keep you firm upon Quran and Sunnah.